All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into something pretty amazing, a partnership that's taking artificial intelligence out of the tech lab and putting it right into the middle of a strawberry field. Seriously, this is the story of how some of the most advanced technology on the planet is completely changing the way food is grown in Vietnam.
I mean, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Can a line of code actually grow a strawberry? That's really the big question we're digging into today. Can software and automation really do a better job of growing our food than generations of human farming? Well, the answer is unfolding as we speak over in Southeast Asia, and it might just blow you away.
So, before we get into the nuts and bolts of how this works, let's talk about the why. What's the deal with this number, plus 30%? Well, according to the Vietnamese government, that is the average boost in productivity they're seeing on farms that have switched over to this smart farming tech. That's not a small jump. That's a total game changer, and it's why this whole revolution is moving so incredibly fast.
Okay, so with that 30% boost as our starting point, let's unpack the engine behind it all. We're calling this the high-tech harvest. What in the world is AI farming? What does a so-called smart farm actually look like? Let's find out.
You know, the easiest way to think about a smart farm is to imagine it has a digital brain. It's kind of like having a plant doctor that is on call 24/7. It's using all these little sensors to monitor everything you can imagine: soil moisture, temperature, light, you name it. Then an AI takes all that data, analyzes it in a split second, and makes perfect decisions, automating things like watering or feeding the plants. The whole goal is just give the crops exactly what they need right when they need it. No guesswork and absolutely no waste.
Now, this whole revolution, it isn't just happening on its own. It's being driven by a really specific partnership between two countries. This isn't just one company selling a product. No, this is a deep collaborative effort between South Korea and Vietnam, bringing together high-tech know-how with a real agricultural need.
And believe me, this thing has taken off like a rocket. It all got started officially back in 2019. And in just 5 years, it's exploded into 45 different joint projects. We're talking over $20 million invested already. And the best part? They're planning to expand it even more over the next decade. This is a serious long-term commitment.
So who's actually making this happen? Well, it's really a team effort with three main groups. First, you've got the governments, like Vietnam's Academy of Agricultural Sciences and Korea's Rural Community Corporation, who are setting the big picture strategy. Then you have the private companies, the tech experts like Evolve, who are providing the actual on-the-ground solutions. And finally, and this is crucial, you have development agencies like KOIC from Korea, who are putting up the funding to make sure even small, family-run farms can get in on the action.
Okay, so we know who's in the room, but what are they actually doing? What's the technology they're using? Let's go from the big picture strategy right down to the field level and see what putting the smart in smart agriculture really means.
We're talking about some seriously cool stuff here. These are sophisticated Korean technologies, things like AI that can automatically tweak the conditions inside a greenhouse for perfect growth, or data systems that can predict the exact best day to harvest. They're even using blockchain, that blockchain, to create this totally transparent tracking system, so you can follow your food from the moment it's picked to the moment it hits the store shelf. It's all about quality and safety.
But here's the thing. You can't just take a piece of high-tech equipment from Korea, drop it in a field in Vietnam, and hope for the best. It just doesn't work that way. The secret to success here is a really smart localization strategy. Yeah, it starts with importing the core tech, but then, and this is key, they have to adapt it for Vietnam's very different, very tropical climate. And maybe most important of all, they invest heavily in training local farmers and technicians to use and maintain it all. That's how you make it last.
And if you want a perfect real-world example of this, look no further than Evolve, that Korean tech company we mentioned. They're not just going after giant corporate farms. They're actually creating these AI-powered systems specifically for small-scale strawberry growers in Vietnam. It's proof that this tech isn't just for the big guys. It can empower everyone.
Okay, this tech is cool, for sure. But how does it actually make money? How does something like this go from being a government-funded experiment to a successful, sustainable business? Let's get into the economics.
Well, the numbers really do speak for themselves. We already saw that incredible 30% jump in productivity. But check this out. On top of that, these smart farms are also cutting production costs by 10 to 20%. Why? Because they're using water, fertilizer, and labor so much more efficiently.
So you're getting higher yields for lower costs. I mean, that's a business case that gets everyone's attention.
So one of the smartest things they're doing here is using something called Official Development Assistance, or ODA. It's a clever model. Basically, an agency like KOICA comes in and funds the first few pilot projects. This proves that the technology works in Vietnam, it gets the kinks out, and it lowers the risk for private companies and local farmers who want to invest. It's like the kickstart that gets the whole commercial market engine running.
Look, this isn't all easy. When you're working across borders, you're going to hit some hurdles. You've got language barriers, different technical standards, all that stuff. But they've built the solution right into the model. They offer this complete support system, everything from local training in the local language to customizing the tech for Vietnam's needs and providing ongoing maintenance. It's about building a real partnership, not just selling a product.
So, we've been looking at the details, right? The farms, the tech, the business. Now let's pull back and look at the big picture. Where's all of this headed? Is this just about making farms in Vietnam better, or are we looking at the start of something much, much bigger?
This quote right here really says it all. The ambition is huge. Right now, there's a pilot project in a place called Dalat, funded with $3 million. That's kind of the main test kitchen. The goal isn't just to install some fancy equipment, it's to build an entire new ecosystem, a whole new value chain for smart farming that can eventually be rolled out across the entire country.
And this is the real endgame here. The vision doesn't stop at Vietnam's border. The ultimate goal is to perfect this model, this blend of cooperation, tech transfer, and sustainable farming, and then use it as a blueprint for the entire ASEAN region. We're talking about a model that could potentially change how food is grown for hundreds of millions of people.
So that brings us full circle, and it leaves us with this one huge question to think about. We started by asking if a line of code could grow a strawberry, and now we see the potential is so much bigger. The real question is, can this unique model of collaboration, mixing public aid with private innovation, actually help feed an entire continent? The seeds, both literally and figuratively, have been planted. Now we just have to wait and see what grows.